Hello everyone, this is my video presentation for technology in the global arena, and I will be focusing mainly on the digital divide and how the gap can be reduced so that more people are connected to the internet, regardless of where they live or how much they earn. The digital divide can be seen as the gap between regions where access to the internet and other communications technology is limited or restricted. One may think of the digital divide as being only limited to third world countries, but the issue is far more complex than that. Even here in the United States, we face the dilemma of the digital divide in impoverished areas, and it is clear that people in low-income areas do not have easy access to technologies as you would find in areas with a higher average income. The reason it is important to focus on the issue of the digital divide is so that there can be an increased awareness of the problem as well as understanding possible solutions that can be put into place to help bridge this gap and bring technology to poor neighborhoods. Households where there is a higher level of education are more likely to use computers and the internet. There is also a strong correlation between access to technologies and the internet and income, with households earning more than $75,000 being 20 times more likely to have internet access at home, and 10 times more likely to own a desktop computer or laptop if they are living in a rural area or in the city. Even the issue of race is brought into question, as it was found that Asian and Caucasian Americans are more likely to have access to the internet, which is also correlated with the average level of income amongst these groups. While areas where the general population is rich have access to more digital resources and materials that assist with education, people in poor neighborhoods do not have the same access to such information and thus receive a lower quality of education and opportunities, as well as the ability to learn technical skills that are an absolute necessity in this age of rapidly advancing technology. Areas where there is a higher level of income generally have more people connected to the internet because it is easily affordable by people living in these areas, whereas people in poor neighborhoods do not have disposable income to afford spending money on things they see as a novelty, such as the internet, despite its usefulness. This not only means that there are less people connected to modern technologies available today, but that education in impoverished areas is affected as a result of the lack of technology available to students and even employees in these areas. It is often thought that accessing the internet would require a laptop or desktop computer, but one major player in helping bridge the digital divide is a smartphone. Smartphones can be purchased at a low cost, and service is generally good in the majority of the United States and even outside of the country as well, allowing anyone with a smartphone to navigate the web right in the palm of their hands. When compared to laptops, tablets, and even desktop computers, smartphones help give users the same advantages and web browsing experience at a fraction of the cost, meaning that people in poor neighborhoods can purchase a low-cost smartphone on a low-cost plan and have the same access to the web as people in higher income areas. Though smartphones may help more people connect to the internet, it is still not a viable option for real work, such as working on projects, either for work or school. And in the end, users are still left paying for a phone plan as opposed to a low-cost internet connection plan, which of course would require an additional cost to having purchased a desktop computer or a laptop. In a 2012 Pew report, it was discovered that a majority of smartphone owners from lower household income levels are more likely to access the internet through their smartphones. One issue with smartphones being seen as a way of bridging the digital divide is that there are other people who have no disposable income to afford a smartphone or are unable to attain access to the web as a result. One resolution for this could be a program in which people donate older smartphones in working condition so that they can go to those who cannot afford a smartphone regardless of the cost. Even the issue of the digital divide affects the quality of education students receive at school. Teachers have said that although the schools provide a good level of internet services and technology in regards to computers and tablets they have on hand, only 18% of students have adequate internet access at home. It is also a challenge for teachers in low-income schools, as they felt it was more of an obstacle to not have a higher level of technology to help teach students different concepts in regards to the newer technologies available today. But the digital divide is not only limited to access to the internet and these technologies, but also knowledge in regards to these technologies. There are many people who do not know how to access the internet, much less use a computer. And this lack of education regarding technology widens the digital divide even further. Increasing awareness of technologies and internet use helps bridge the divide even further, allowing people in these communities to thrive and have a higher level of education and access to the information available on the internet. This is a much easier problem to resolve, as it is possible for communities to hold free seminars that people can attend so that they can learn how to use a computer to access the internet. This can help educate people in lower income communities on the importance of knowing how to use a computer and access the internet, and perhaps lead to innovation and an increase in employment in that area as well. On a global scale, the issue of the digital divide is much larger, as most regions in the world do not have access to the internet, thus making this a difficult problem to solve. Google attempted to solve this issue at one point by launching air balloons that can transmit 4G signals. But if people in the area receiving the 4G signal do not have technology to make use of the 4G signals being transmitted, then the issue really isn't resolved at all. Of course, Google is installing their latest fiber internet service in more established areas, but this does not help bridge the digital divide and is a great advantage to those who can afford to have the service, as the speeds will be far greater than the standard cable or even DSL modem speeds that most people are accustomed to in this day and age. One very surprising fact is that in 2015, it was reported that 2.1 million people still use AOL dial-up services, which is shocking to say the least, considering that most modern websites require a faster downloading speed in order to download all page graphics. Developing countries and economies are being held back as a result of the digital divide, and even smaller organizations and individuals with less disposable income and less education. Even larger and more established organizations are being held back because they are focused on staying with past technologies, as opposed to adapting and advancing onto emerging technologies to improve their own services. It is important to remember that the digital divide exists and that it is a serious issue, as everyone deserves access to the latest communication technologies as well as information that can be found on the internet, regardless of race, income, and even education.